It's time for the GVSU Football Weekly Report with head coach Scott Wooster on the Grand Valley Sports Network. Here are the breakdowns and previews with the head coach and special guests throughout the season. It's all brought to you by Berger Chevrolet, the official dealer of GVSU Athletics. Let's get it right up to Main Street, Allendale. Here's Steve Williams.
Hi again, everybody. Welcome into the show. Once again, live inside the Main Street Pub here in Allendale. Alongside head coach Scott Wooster, I'm Steve Lloyd-Jones. Great to have you with us tonight. The Lakers, their first loss of the season coming Saturday at Pittsburgh State. That was in Pittsburgh, Kansas. 17-14, came right down to the wire at the end there. And the Lakers fall by 3, so now 2-1 overall. But Grand Valley going into an interesting part of the schedule, which we're going to talk about as we go through our show tonight. But Coach, yeah, I mean that's a tough one to get through, which we'll break down in the next segment. But you're dealing with that, and then you have an extended bye portion of the season. But how are the guys? Just real quick, how are they doing in practice?
No, it's a testament to our culture, but particularly our leadership. And we got one of those guys here tonight. We'll talk about in just a second with Riley, but. Our culture, our leadership, the response has been phenomenal. Kind of shifted things back a little bit. I think we got back to Allendale about 3 a.m., 3:30, 4 a.m., whatever it was, on Sunday morning. So we took Sunday off, came back Monday, went through the tape and, where we got to get better, all those things. And then Tuesday we got right back after it and kind of a blend of a little camp-style practice with some things that we really focused on where – from an identity standpoint, hanging our hat and work to get better. And then there's some things that we really, really needed to improve, which we'll talk about as we get into the show. But the response has been incredible. We practiced Tuesday. Wednesday, we got this JV game coming up, which we'll talk about a little bit. And then we practiced today, and the two practices have been physical. It kind of gets the taste out of your mouth. Mm-hmm. And we talk about iron sharpens iron here, just as man sharpens man. And there was a tremendous amount of iron sharpening iron, back and forth action. So incredible response, extremely proud. Love what this team is becoming in that sense. And got another week of it next week. So continue to have some fun with it.
Yeah, that's right. 2 bye weeks here for the Lakers on the schedule. Tonight we're going to be talking with defensive back recruiting coordinator Nick Postma. He's going to be the assistant coach this evening. Linebacker Riley Simpson will be aboard. We're going to talk with him. Coach will chat a little bit later on and then go into more detail as to how you strategically approach this bye week coming up Saturday and then another one next week. So a little bit strange, but we got all of that ahead for you here tonight as you listen to the GVSU Football Weekly Report with head coach Scott Wooster. We're on YouTube as well, GVSULakers.com. We'll continue with the show right after this on 97 LAV and the Grand Valley Sports Network. Well, that highlight part of the action Saturday. Grand Valley on the road at Pittsburgh State in Pittsburgh, Kansas. Non-league game. Grand Valley falling in that one 17-14, now 2-1. And a review of last week brought to you in part by Nawara Brothers Home Store, bringing you top-name brands at low prices, and by Earhart Construction, the official construction company of the Grand Valley Sports Network. Steve Lloyd Jones, Scott Wooster back with you here as we break that down a little bit. And yeah, just we didn't get to talk after the game as you were all heading back home, and as you say, we get in late. Just general thoughts. You've had more time as you look over film, and you as coaches. Just general takeaways from that, Scott.
Yeah, like I said, the things that preparing for going into that, we talked about the jungle, an awesome environment, and it was, and the preparation for that from a noise standpoint. Their conference commissioner does an awesome job for Division II, Mike Racy, and they've made it known that they're going to play the bands through the snap count and everything else, and extremely proud of our preparation and going through that. We didn't have a false start. We didn't have a delay of game. We had zero issues with the noise. We talked about it being hot down there, right? Yeah. 92 degrees, 67% humidity. I think the wet bulb temp was like 105, 106. We had one minor cramp that entire football game, four-quarter football game, and one minor cramp. I think home team had a couple guys cramping up, guys puking on the sideline, and we prepared for that. So the maturity outside of that, the way we traveled, a ton to be proud of. But when we get in between the white lines at 4 p.m. when that ball kicked, I take complete ownership of it. Just from a coaching standpoint, let's start with the obvious with the offsides, right? They had a short yardage plan, and they executed it. And it was just clapping their hands and then reaching across, touching when we got in the neutral zone. They did that 5 times. 4 of those converted 2 first downs. So 5 times total, 2 third downs, 2 fourth downs, kept on the field, and that led to 3 points. It comes down to a field goal. And, again, take complete ownership of that. They kicked their game winner. We got ours blocked. And that's 2 weeks in a row that we got a field goal blocked. I've been in college football since 2009. Been in charge of that unit, field goal PAT, and we've had 3 blocked, ironically. The first one I ever had blocked was Pitt State in the national championship. It flipped the game, right? It completely changed the game. They scooped and scored. It was a 10-point turnaround. We had one against, ironically, Grand Valley. I think it was in 2015, right before the half. We try a long field goal, low trajectory kick, and Grand Valley blocks it when I was at Wayne. And then we had one again, I think against Pueblo a couple years ago. So I've had three kicks blocked since 2009 to 2025, and then we've had 2 blocked in 2 weeks. So take complete ownership of that. That will not happen again. We got that fixed. We went to work on that immediately, and we will kick those game winners. Running the football, first and second down. Obviously, my career is an offensive line coach, finding ways to run the football. We ran the ball for 80 yards, and tip of the cap, that's a really good defense, but that is not the standard. That's an embarrassing number. For the last 2 weeks, we run the ball for 135 yards in 2 games. I'm not talking about a quarter. Yeah. I'm not talking about a half, but that is not the standard. That is embarrassing, and we went to work to get that fixed, and that won't happen again. Quarterback got hit 10 times. That won't happen again. We will get that fixed. They had 3 explosive passes. Which way we play, we're going to give up a few of those, but we got to be better there. And then on third down, win the clutch. Like I said, defensively, we played lights-out football. 3 explosive passes, and the onsides I already referenced, but we had them, I think, 27, 30, 31%, something to that effect on third and fourth down. But then you add those offsides, and now they go up to 56%. So we were off the field. Defensively, we played great football, eliminated the run. A team that wanted to establish a line of scrimmage, we held them under 3 yards a carry, but then let them stay on the field. And then offensively, early on, again, we weren't generating the yardage we need, the efficient runs on first and second down. But in the late second quarter, second half, we came alive offensively. And did a really good job on third down. We ended up 43%. The last one, we didn't make the play. It's in our hands. That would have put us at 50%, and we really changed the game. So those are the frustrations. Special teams-wise, I thought Trace and the punt team did an exceptional job.
Yeah, he did.
Kenyon Owens, his coverage, just phenomenal work. Matt Basic, kickoff team. Again, phenomenal performance. Did a great job there. KOR, our kickoff return, we did not get the did not get the KOR team going, and we've been pretty good at that. They had a really good plan, and they stoned us there. But and then the punt return team, Lynn Weichel goes back as our punt returner, does an incredible job, saves us a ton of field position, and again, a play that can change the football game. He has a 25-yard return, and one of our gunners, we just do something just really no need for. It's a block in the back. He doesn't block his guy in the back. He blocks another guy in the back, so it's a 35-yard penalty because we got the 25-yard return. We're going to have the ball on the 29 rolling, right, going in, and we go back 10 yards. So just some things like that throughout the football game that incredibly frustrating. But the guy you're going to talk to tonight, Riley Simpson, changed the game, right? We're down 10-0 on the road. It's tough. It's hard. We're not like I said, running the football. Not doing a great job protecting the passer, and makes that play in that game, right? And for a senior that's just stood the course and done everything right for the last 4.5, 5 years now, to go back home, and you'll get into a story a little bit, but he's bounced around. He's a coach's kid, right? He's a coach's kid, and parents live in Kansas now, and home, basically going back home, everyone's there, and the 97-yard scoop and score. And just the detail he did it with in terms of the fundamental, how he picked that ball up, the ball of session the entire way. And everyone sees that score, and Riley Simpson and gave us a chance to win that football game. But then just the game he played, too. It's rep after rep. It was his best game as a Laker, and I couldn't be prouder of that performance. And there's a bunch of guys, Sion Uzma-Harper, Anthony Cardamone. We had a bunch of guys, Sean Bird, coming out party.
Sure did.
Like I said, LJ Trace, Basic, Kenyon. So a bunch of those guys made some awesome plays, but I couldn't be prouder of Riley in his senior year going back home and putting us in a position to win that football game.
That's right. Riley actually – it was determined to be 96 yards officially as a touchdown return. That's a new Grand Valley record. Scott Mackey, pretty good safety back in the day. He had one for 95. So congratulations to Riley on that. And we'll hear from him coming up.
Shout out to Tim Knott. That's
right.
A little Laker history there. Yes.
We got you. We're good. We're good. Some other individual numbers here. As you say, Sean Bird, 4 grabs, 53 yards. He looked really good in the passing game. And you had guys like Cardamone, of course, leads you with 10 tackles. He was everywhere. But Torian Wyatt, he really stepped up. We were in the highlight.
Yeah, no, and Torian and Elijah Baker, and there's a group, particularly at the linebacker position, a couple guys that, you hear Jimmy Downs, you hear Anthony Cardamone. We just talked about Riley having that performance, but Torian Wyatt, the intro, the sack there, and making some plays. Elijah Baker, we thought really played extremely well. Isaiah Johnson gets in there for a couple reps and is extremely productive in those limited reps. So Ryder Snow's another guy on special teams that did some things. So particularly that group, but our defensive line, like I said, it's hard to compartmentalize, but we do, right? The snap count part of it, but I take ownership of that, and that's coaching, and we'll get that better. But defensive line, Ty Jackson, T.Y. played an incredible game, his best game as a Laker, and Josh and R.J. and, Kamani Paz, Jamari Budden played a heck of a game. But defensively, our front seven, a team that we knew wanted to establish a line of scrimmage and run the football. And all, 7, those guys, but we probably played, I don't know. I know we played 8, 9, 10 defensive linemen, like we just said, probably 7, 8 linebackers. Riley's shaking his head. Yeah, so, you take that, that performance on the road. And a lot of those guys are on special teams too, a lot of those linebackers. So extremely proud of that performance. And, and then offensively too, we had some opportunities to get in the game with some explosive plays that we've been making those plays, right? A couple of those catches down the field. And I thought Schuster played, in a tough environment and, getting hit. And he just stood in there. And I just saw a little different Andrew Schuster, like the teeth showed. He is a competitive dude, and you saw that. And, again, those are the things that make you proud, that you get excited.
Yeah.
And we talk about dichotomies all the time. Two things can be true: extremely, extremely frustrated about our performance and about things inside of our control, but extremely, extremely excited about, one, our response and how we attack this week to go get better at all those things I just talked about, and what is to come for this football team.
Well, another individual number we want to point out, too, is, we're talking special teams. Trace Hergich averaged almost 50 yards a punt. He had 2 of them inside the 20. And Sunderman comes in. He gets 1 punt. It's for 53.
53. And, like you talk about the old coffin corner, right? The hang 10 punt now that we try to get down there inside the 10. And we're getting to that point with those guys. It's like you get to the 40, 45-yard line, and we're talking about pinning them inside the 20, the 10-yard line. So the weapon that they create, the Denver Broncos were out to practice today. We've had scouts out, and it's like, hey, maybe you need to take a look at Trace because he's got that kind of leg talent. And a lot of guys can hit the football, right? But he can hit the football, and then he can also pin it, right? And he's a football player, too. A couple years ago, you remember, he was the holder on the fake to, I think it was Nate Umbler, right, in the Anchorbone game. And he's a football player. He's got that kind of moxie to him. So we got some things, using these bye weeks. You might see a little thrower out of Trace. We got some action,
nice.
A couple runs, a couple of this, a couple of that. So he's a football player, and he's been just absolutely incredible, both hitting the ball and flipping the field and then pinning them deep.
Yeah, so we're going to name this week Trace Hergich, the punter, and Torian Wyatt, the linebacker, as our performances of the week, presented by Trinity Health. As the Lakers falling in that one, hard-fought game, lots of, shall we say, tough lessons, because they're not moral victories, but you do have things you can take out of it and build off of. And I agree with you. You could see the grit coming out. Schuster was the most obvious because he has the ball the most, but a lot of guys, you could see even up at the booth, just a little metal starting to show,
And I think one of our major issues, Steve, was when it was a little difficult, particularly on offense, when it did get tough and it wasn't going our way and we didn't start fast and we didn't get things going, particularly in the second quarter, it wasn't a let down. It was probably almost too much, right? Like, I'm going to go get this football and I'm going to go score.
Yeah.
Other than just, hey, let's catch it or let's make the run first, right? Let's get the block first, which I say it to our staff. I say it to our team all the time, right? Grew up on the farm. I'd rather have to say, whoa, than giddy up, right? We hunted as kids and as a family, right? And, there's those dogs that just don't hunt.
Yeah.
We got some dogs that'll hunt, right? That'll flat out hunt. And, again, rather say whoa than giddy up. So that's a pleasant problem. We are playing extremely, extremely hard. In some ways maybe too hard, but we're playing together. We stuck together. Now we just got to play a heck of a lot smarter, and that's been a constant theme, right? But it's kind of just finding different ways to play not so smart, to play a little dumb. So a young football team, a lot of those guys we just referenced are redshirt freshmen, redshirt sophomores, the first time in that environment on the road, and that's exactly why we wanted to play this football game, right?
Yeah,
because we will have that environment here coming up shortly, right? We got a road trip up to northern Michigan and the Uper Dome. We're going to Top Taggart Stadium down the road. We got some of those games coming up that that environment you can't replicate in practice. A shout out too before we go in our preparation, right? That heat, right? And to our roster and the maturity that we had to take care of our bodies and prepare for that, right?
Yeah.
So our operations staff, Nate Lewis, Maddie Dickinson, the liquid IV and everything else that they had, tortilla chips, getting the salt, getting the water, and all those things prepared. But Brent Tavis and Rents Meredith, our people, they did one heck of an awesome job. We went indoors last Wednesday, and they got the Kelly Indoor up to 97 degrees to acclimate for this thing.
Yeah.
And then Nate Lewis and Maddie, we had this golf cart with the generator, and we had the speakers right behind our offense, right? And just this band playing, that trombone, bump, 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 bump. And, right when practice was over and they'd kill the music, it'd be silent for a minute and you'd be kind of looking around, and then right before I go to bed, I'd just hear that mop, 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 right, over and over. So the preparation, ETs here, CTs here, they had us wear our blue tops, but just everybody involved on a road trip like that, getting the people together and getting them down there in the preparation. It's not just a coaching staff. It's not just a team, right? There's a huge, our athletic department. We had our VPs on that plane on that trip going down with us and supporting. So that's what makes Grand Valley State, and that's what makes it so special.
Yeah, it was a great trip. Would have liked the outcome different. Everybody would, but a lot to take away from it. And we'll put that one behind us now as the Lakers 2-1 coming out of that
in a
week.
Minute.
Yes.
It'll sit in there for a little bit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, coming up next, stay with us. We've got assistant coach in charge of the DBs, recruiting coordinator Nick Postma, straight ahead as the GVSU Football Weekly Report continues on the Grand Valley Sports Network. And we are back live inside the Main Street Pub here in Allendale. Thanks for joining us tonight. Steve Lloyd Jones with you. The GVSU Football Weekly Report brought to you by Berger Chevrolet. As the Lakers 2-1 now overall, and time for the assistant coach interview segment for you. A perspective presented by Fast Signs of Grand Rapids. The man in charge of the defensive backs recruiting coordinator, Nick Postma, is my guest right now. Nick, good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you again.
Yeah.
I think we saw each other in the plane a little bit, didn't we?
We did, yeah, just a little. Yeah, that's right. No, great ride there and back.
Sure was.
It's the Lakers there. Got in late, but a lot to digest, I know, for you guys. Just general thoughts. Let's start there. Another very good quarterback that you have to face as the guy in charge of DBs. You're watching him be able to throw. And a really good receiving core.
Yeah, no, the last 2 weeks we've I hope that we have faced the best quarterbacks throwing the ball, that we're going to face. Those two guys were good players, Black Hill State and then Pitt State quarterbacks. They're both seniors. They both were transfers. They've both been around the block a little bit. They've had experience. And, I give a lot of credit to Black Hill State quarterback and their receiving core. They had really good continuity, and they were gelling real well with each other. And their back shoulder throws, they hooked up quite a bit there. And then, against Pitt State, I wish we could take a couple things back there, but they connected on some what we call chop routes, inside verticals that, went to work this week and see what we could do better, technique-wise, and maybe do some adjustments that way moving forward. So we do, because eventually we'll see quarterbacks that do throw like that, and a group of receiving cores that can, obviously stretch the field and catch the ball down the field. Yeah,
well, it's definitely a tough challenge. I know your guys, we were talking about it before, talented but young, somewhat inexperienced for sure. Mm-hmm. How much does that weigh on confidence of a player? So important for a DB. When you're going against this type of talent right away, and sometimes the results aren't what you want, how does that affect their confidence?
Yeah, no, it does. Mine too, and then Coach Lewis is the play caller, and when they're catching 30 yards, down the field, that doesn't get a lot of confidence. Keep calling man, all of a sudden you hear him quick go to zone real quick, and I'm not going to sit there and say, yeah, let's go back to man, because, sometimes I don't have that confidence, but we got to get back to it, because that's who we are and that's what we do. And, if we give up one, we give up one. But, we got to limit it. We have to eliminate explosive plays. And, I think that, us kind of doing a deep dive in the last 3 games of, what we can do a little bit better. Because, we are young and a little bit of experience. But now the experience is, it's there. We've played 3 games, and now we got to go. I've been hard a little bit this week with my guys. Next week we gotta gain a little bit of confidence back. And I'll make sure I do a good job getting that back there. But just a little bit of technique, a little bit of understanding splits and different things of what routes you can get. And, we got to go execute and get hands on receivers. We got to disrupt and slow them down at the line of scrimmage too.
What's the one thing you like best about this unit right now?
Unit or the DBs?
Yeah.
Yeah, they come to work every day and they want to get better. They just have to hone in on the details, the fundamentals, the little things that we can control. You know what I mean? Sure. We can't control who we're going against, the receivers, what splits, what formations they're in. All those kind of things we can control, and that's just every day working hard. I think we got to get a little bit more competitive, especially when the ball's in the air. I think that's one thing that we can control to get a little better at with that. Because, as long as we're right by the receiver, we always have a chance, and, you got to be able to play through the hands, and I always talk about breaking from the elbow, the wrist down, and or getting on top and doing that. And, we got to get to that a little bit. And, I got to do a better job of helping them understand, what they got to do. But, I like the fact that they want to get better. They want to learn. They want to get in on the details. They want to watch tape and understand big picture. Because, that's one thing to have talent, but it's another thing to understand what you're going to see, based on, like I said, splits and or who you're going against, your opponent, No excuses. The first 2 weeks, we went up against very little tape and new offensive coordinators,
Right.
And, that's hard to do when you can't present a lot of information to those guys, or you're going back on last year's tape when that OC's at a different school, so you're not seeing who you're going against. You're seeing, what scheme they're running, but not necessarily personnel, you know. And so, you know, against Pitt State, you know, we're able to do that a little bit more of what receivers they have and what they're good at and what they're not good at. But if the two teams, opponents that played before us don't run man or press man, then you can't see kind of how they get off releases and things like that. So it's just, you know, the more and more tape we get, the more and more experience we get, the more and more our guys just coming to work and, you know, show up with the growth mindset and, you know, the technique and the details, we get that down. I think we can continue to get better each and every day and week.
Well, new guys in terms of being the amount of playing time, starters, all the like. Who's emerging that maybe we don't know about as much?
Yeah, you know, that's funny that you say that. You know, in 3 games we've had 3 different starting DBs, so I'm kind of learning those guys too, you know. But, you know, a couple guys, you know, Quinn Wills, he didn't play game 2. He played game 1, played really well in game 3. And, you know, that was his first time playing, you know. And, you know, one at home and then one on the road. And he didn't flinch at all, which was awesome. You know, he plays super, super hard. And then, you know, now just you know, hone in on the little things with him. And, you know, I think he's going to continue having a great year. You know, Trey Green, I think, you know, he didn't play very much the first game, and then, you know, I made some changes, and he played game 2 and 3 and played really well. And I think that allows us to move Jason Hardy around a little bit. And, you know, Josh Anderson is playing okay. You know, I think we got to get him to play a little bit better. And then, again, Jason Hardy is, you know, doing a lot for us, you know, playing our star, playing our money, playing our boundary corner. So moving him around a little bit, and him understanding how we do things, the big picture. And, you know, just, again, for us, it's just, like I said, it's experience and, you know, learning the game of football, you know, from the scheme to the fundamentals to the opponents of what they do.
Yeah, well, Quinn Wills, as you mentioned him, he totaled 7 tackles in that game.
Yeah, no, he's a good player, and, you know, he's been around the block for 3 years at Grand Valley, but it's his first 2 games playing, you know. So, yeah, we're you know, I wouldn't say young at some spots, we're just inexperienced, you know, and we need to keep playing at the end of the day. And this is what I don't mind, to be honest, these next 2 weeks of having a bye so we can, you know, hold in on the little things, the details that we can get better at sure.
That's right. The time to focus on that. Well, Nick, good to see you again. Thank you. And I know you'll take those guys on that journey of improvement throughout the year.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about it. I'm really excited about it.
Nick Postma with us tonight, DB coach and recruiting coordinator for the Lakers, our assistant coach interview segment for you. Coming up next, linebacker Riley Simpson will talk with head coach Scott Wooster in a moment here in the Grand Valley Sports Network. Stay with us. And our guest player interview segment for you tonight, brought to you in part by Ratco Apparel. Be proud to show off your brand, and by Flow Sports, where you can watch the GVSU Lakers all season long. So, yeah, officially a 96-yard touchdown return for a score, a new GVSU record. And I said it was going to be Scott Wooster talking with Riley Simpson. It's going to be Nick Postma sticking around to do that. And, Coach, we'll turn it over to you.
All right. Well, Riley, first question is, how tired were you after you ran 96 yards for a touchdown?
Man, I needed an oxygen mask in the moment. It was third quarter. It was a long way to run, and it wasn't cold. So,
because I do remember on the sideline we were looking for a linebacker and a kickoff guy and everything, because you were hurting a little bit. But hey, man, nice. That was awesome in front of your parents and everything, and family and all that. So, crazy thing is for me right now is interviewing you is I coached with your dad here at Grand Valley from 2010 and 2013. So, how old were you when you arrived here in 2010?
7 years old.
So I've known you since you were 7 years old, huh?
Correct.
Man, that's crazy. Then your dad went on to a couple schools. Now he's at Kansas right now. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about all your moves from high school, and then what got you, and why did you want to come back to Grand Valley?
I had a great experience living here. I was at every home game for those 4 years that my dad was here, and I knew it was just a great environment, a great place, and a city that cared. My connection with you played a big role in it. When I just looked at my options, it was clear that Grand Valley was the only choice. So.
Okay. So tell everybody, what position did you come here as, and then now what position are you?
Yeah, so I came in as a boundary safety, and I'm so old that's not even a position in our defense anymore. But I came in as a boundary safety. I played 3 seasons as a boundary safety, and after that 2023 season, in that winter, I was moved to nickel linebacker, which is also not a position in our defense anymore. So I'm currently a Sam linebacker.
Okay. So I guess now the next question would be, is your thoughts on your first position coach and now your position coach right now?
All love. I love them all. I've learned a lot from both of them. One of my something I definitely wanted to talk about, it was just my appreciation for what I've learned from everybody in the program, how much different I am as a person and a football player since when I stepped foot at Grand Valley till now. It's just, it's crazy. And so I've learned a lot from you. I learned a lot from Coach Lewis. Nothing but love and respect and trust for both of you guys.
All right, now I'll just throw you a couple easy layups now. So what's your favorite part of being a GV football player?
Brotherhood, no question. No question about it.
Okay. So flip that. What's the hardest part about being a GV football player?
It's a hard thing and it's a good thing, but it's definitely the standards. We all hold each other to high standards. So, that's just, pushes me to be my best. I want to push my teammates to be the best, but of course, it's not easy. So,
sure.
It gets hard, but that's what makes you, helps you grow. So It's good and bad.
For sure. Okay. Let's go to your roommates. Who are your roommates?
Right now, I just live with Tommy Barnett on the football team. Yeah.
All right. Who have you been lived with in the past, I guess?
I lived with Giovanni Volpentesta, Garrett Josworth, and David Perry my freshman year. David Perry left, so then DeMarcus Brown moved in with me sophomore year. We moved out to Mystic, and we got the duplex, so we had 8 football players, 4 on each side. And so it was me, Gio, Garrett, Tommy, Armani Moreno, Niger Finney, and then Vinny Messi.
All right, some good names right there.
Yeah.
So who was the cleanest? Who was the messiest on those times?
Out of everyone, or just me and Tommy?
No, I can't go just you and Tommy. All of the above. All the
definitely Garrett was probably the cleanest. He, his room looked like a department store. So.
Okay. And messiest?
Definitely Armani for sure.
Okay. All right, so let's go GV offense. What player do you like to compete against the most on the offense side of the ball?
I'd probably have to say Harry Unger because he's one of my good friends. He's a big, strong guy. We go against each other a lot. I like to, he'll get me sometimes. I'll get him. It's back and forth, and he makes me better, and I like to think I make him better. So.
Okay, awesome, love it. What's your major, and what's your future plan?
Yeah, so I'm a general business major. Sorry, general business major. I got 6 credits left to graduate. So I graduate at the end of the semester in December. And, some things are kind of up in the air, but I do plan on moving back home to home base currently in Kansas and going to law school with the end goal of eventually being an agent for athletes.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. Okay, last question. What's your you prefer music or movies?
That's really hard. I'd probably have to say music because I listen to music more than I watch movies, but I love movies.
Okay.
I'm actually going to head to a movie right after this.
What is it?
Him.
Oh,
it just came out. Jordan Peele movie just came out today.
You want to invite me?
You can come.
Okay, cool.
I'm sure
Thank
there's
you.
seats.
All right, that's my interview. Take it over, Steve.
Very good. Riley, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And a great return on that. A new GVSU record there, 96-yard scoop and score into the Laker record books. When we come back, Scott Wooster will rejoin me. We'll talk about what's coming up on this bye week and how the Lakers get ready for that and move forward here as you listen tonight to the GVSU Football Weekly Report on the Grand Valley Sports Network. We'll be right back. Sion Usma-Harper running hard there Saturday, and going against a good defense. You could tell he had a lot of desire and intensity there as the Lakers fought hard in that game. And Grand Valley now looking ahead as they will have, you're going to hear this theme over the next couple of weeks, the bye week. And it's not, what you're hearing is the truth. It's 2 byes in a row. And so that's unusual. We won't talk about the second one yet. But you're going into this period, Scott. You knew it, obviously, months ago that you'd have this time. So let's talk about the mindset heading into the fact you're not going to have a game Saturday. You're not going to have a game until October 4th. So what are the goals right now? What's the strategy at this point?
No, real quick, and obviously early on talked about some of the frustration stuff, but do want to give all due respect and credit to Pitt State. You just said it, like Coach Anthony and that program, and we talked about all the tradition and everything else, but what an awesome environment, awesome football game, great football team, and it's kind of some mirror images. I think he kind of, wears his beard or facial hair about the same. We got about the same hair color to say the same things. I think there's just so many similar things between our two football programs, and I just want to give them all the credit in the world with that win and how they play the game, right? And it was obviously frustrating outcome, but just how they play the game and how they operate, it was great. There was none of the junk. It was just good football, right? So anyway, sorry about that. But,
no, that's good.
Wanted to give the credit where credit was due there, and bye weeks had about 15 or 16 different plans this summer, and had notebooks, legal pads full of different ways to operate through this. Made a ton of phone calls, talked to a lot of people in the professional network. A guy that coached in the Super Bowl, right? So. You win the AFC or the NFC championship game, you got 2 weeks to prepare for that team.
Right.
So talk to him about some things that they did in the bye week 1 compared to week 2. The new phenomenon in the bowl season, it used to be, you finish November, 15th, or like Ohio State, Michigan would finish on Thanksgiving weekend, and then you'd play a New Year's Bowl. Well, now all these bowl games, that's all proliferated. And so some of those are starting in December, so it's kind of a 2-week bye. So a lot of those group of 5 teams play their last game, a MAC championship or whatever, have 2 weeks, and then they play that bowl game. So talk to a lot of those coaches on how they prepare and how they go about it. And then, again, talk to a couple guys that I know from the NFL because they've got multiple buys throughout the year. And, do you use it to just really hone in on you? And, now that we've got some information of who we are and who this team is and building identity, fixing some things that you need to get fixed, do you look at some advanced and future scouting, right? So talked to a lot of people, took a lot of notes, and then now, like I said, there was a bunch of contingency plans, and basically where we're at coming out. Like I had a one to say we win this football game, and here's where we feel really good about ourselves. We lose this football game, here's what we really got to improve. So kind of had those contingencies, the different plans, and then just kind of rolled this plan out after really talking to the staff and getting a ton of input there, and feel like week 1 kind of concluding now of the bye week. Like I said, the response, a huge part of it is just the response and the leadership of our football team, and it's been incredible. It was fun to get out there and get coaching. There's no real game plan, right? But Tuesday and Thursday, and then a little of the juice of this JV game, this exhibition game that we're going to have Sunday the 28th. So we got those young guys out there, and now they're in a game plan.
Yeah, that's true.
And just the changing nature of college football, we're playing younger and younger guys, and that's where we decided that it's a really, really good idea to play this exhibition or JV game, because typically you go through that, you're a scout team player. You get into spring ball, and now you're back into our offense, defense, special teams. And really the first time you go into a game week, like our redshirt freshman right now, you look at our defensive line, Ronald Jackson, Josh Williams, Ryder Gradenhoff on the offensive line, Evan Curtis. I could go up and down about impact guys that are redshirt freshmen. Well, their first experience in that was Lincoln, right? So now our redshirt freshmen next year, their first experience is CCC coming up in 2 weeks. So they're getting the meetings, they're getting the game plan, they're getting on Just Play, they're watching the tape, they're making those corrections. So fast forward to the fall of 2026, and those guys are ready for that. It could be they got 4 games to play now. NCAA legislation, they got 4 games to preserve their red shirt. So it could be a couple of these guys maybe there's a couple injuries, some things happen down the road. This could be 2-3 weeks from now, right? Now they've went through this system. They might be playing for us later this year, right? So,
right,
but then now
right.
they've went through it and they've had this this preparation process. So, hey, who are we right now? Who do we have to continue to become, right? Sharpen the sword, iron sharpens iron, those things that we talked about. How do we become the best version of ourselves? Maybe a little advanced scouting, future opponents, and then this JV game. So there's a couple different dynamics at play. Getting the bodies back, right? Coming out of this thing completely healthy and energized. Getting back in the OD with Coach Mitchell, doing an awesome job as a physical athlete. So, yeah, a lot of different things at play right now. We can really double down as a student, especially our 2-deep roster. They don't have the game plans and everything else. So we will have the best student performance GPA, and we've really been leaning into that, making sure guys are taking care of their next 50 years. So a lot of different dynamics at play, but a lot of fun too.
Yeah, absolutely. Unique opportunity here for the Lakers heading into this week and next week as well. That'll do it for us tonight. Big thank you to Nick Postma for stopping by, head of the DBs. Linebacker Riley Simpson setting a new record in the Laker record books. Well, Grand Valley off for a couple of weeks. We'll be back next Thursday with more of the GVSU Football Weekly Report here in the Grand Valley Sports Network. So long, everybody.